Cash flow is a usual challenge for every Amazon business. In this video, our guest Sebastian from Payoneer explains how they help Amazon sellers with additional funds that gives them capital advance for future revenues. Besides discussing other different business funding options, Sebastian also explains why traditional banks are often not the best option for fast-growing e-commerce businesses.
Hi, we're here at Amazon Sellers Barcamp Event in Lisbon, Portugal, and I'm here with Sebastian from Payoneer. So hi. How are you doing so far?
Very good. It's been a great event. Just had lunch. It's very satisfying. It's been fun.
And what do you think about this different format event? It's not like a regular conference, it's rather unconference. So what are your first impressions?
The voting part was exciting. So it was a bit of an excitement part in the morning, wake everyone up to pitch. And I think it ended up to do exactly what they wanted, is to have a very strong focus on what's interesting and not everybody just prepare something and then hope for the best. It was good.
Okay, very good. So today we're gonna discuss some things about international payments, which is important topic for Amazon sellers. But before we do that, can you shortly give an overview of what Payoneer is and how do you work together with Amazon sellers?
Yeah, so Payoneer itself is a financial services company. It's global, right? So it's really spanning the whole world today. The core product that we're offering to sellers mostly is a receiving account, and that in a various amount of currencies. So if you actually want to internationalize, that's becoming really interesting for you. So the moment that there's different currencies for you to handle and you want to be local in the US, in UK, anywhere you want to go, then we have a product for you to become that outside of the regular banking partners that you
Very
have.
good. So you're supporting heavily Amazon sellers like in their basically daily business, right?
In daily and specifically in that international growth. So it's not a replacement for a bank. If you're just acting domestically, then there's no real space for us to push into that. But if the moment that you really want to go global or international and grow in that direction, then we have a various set of services that will really help you achieve that.
Very good. So I think also like this area of like international payments and everything, it's also changing sometimes. So are there any latest news updates that Amazon sellers should be aware of?
Yeah. So like I said, the core product that we have is this receiving account. So over the time, Payoneer learned that, of course, the more services you add to this, the better the total experience for the sellers will be. And in the past, already added credit cards for business, virtual credit cards as well. So the latest addition that our news would be that we now have launched a working capital product, meaning that we give capital advance for future revenues on Amazon. Just launched that in Germany a couple of weeks ago, so it's fresh off the shelf. It's tested in a few other markets already, and it's really our next big step into a broader set of services.
Okay, and overall, if we talk about like Amazon sellers and how they grow their business, scale their business, cash flow is a big topic and an issue. What kind of different funding options Amazon sellers can use, and perhaps you can highlight like what do you think are the best options for Amazon sellers right now to kind of fund their business?
Yeah, so it's actually come up on this event a few times already, and it was nice for us to see that we managed to explain exactly how our product fits into the mix of opportunities you have. So obviously, businesses use their regular banks to get really longer term loans on smaller interest rates. Usually that's used for operational funding, actually paying salaries with it. And then what's coming into the market more and more, and has been about for 2 years now, is the trade finance. So you have partners that actually give you financing for specific invoices that you send to suppliers, and then the money that you get is also bound to that purpose. And now we want to add this third option that you can really add free to use capital, so to say. It's still based on your revenue, so it's not an actual credit check that we do like a regular bank would do. So it's faster, it's data driven, but it gives you an amount that you have to pay back in a shorter term, but it's free to use. So if you have a various set of projects that will enable you to capture an opportunity that doesn't have to be bound to one trade, then you can apply for this for our product. It's usually issued in a matter of 1 or 2 weeks and repaid in different stages. We have three packages. The quickest package is a month repayment. and then you have a 3 month and 6 months. You can increase the amount that you take out and the time that you want to keep the money for.
Okay, and I also wanted to ask, because I think it's also important, and I think like Amazon sellers often think about it, like what do traditional banks think about like Amazon sellers and giving loans for the Amazon business?
Well, I mean, they obviously still get it, and we have a lot of them that say they have quite good relationships with their banks. And if the bank's happy, if their business grows, but still all the approaches to evaluating how much you should get and how quickly you get that are just not relating to a quick opportunity that is in front of you. And so we see a lot of sellers are really always focused on that next thing to capture, whereas the bank's traditional approach is you want money for 3 years plus, right? You give us a business plan, how many people you want to pay with that money. It's a longer term solid outlook, and therefore also more longer term evaluation what they want to give you and how much. The only other operational side that they have is a credit line that you just go overdraft, which is quite expensive. So yeah, that's what we wanted to address and say that there's a gap of getting funding for a really quick opportunity, seasonal business, like if it's summertime and you have a product that sells only in a month or 2 months in summer, and you want to produce extra stock or buy extra stock for that, and then you have that instant moment, and your bank usually is just too slow. It's not that they don't like that, right? They don't see it as a bad thing, but they just don't have the resources and approach for that quick funding usually.
And what do you think when it's like the right time to start thinking about like those different options for Amazon sellers to kind of consider like, okay, now it's the point where I should, for example, use Payoneer services to grow the business even more?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, our entry point outside of working capital is the moment that you handle different markets with different currencies. And so that's why we usually say this is our prime spot to look at and say, look, I have a diversified currency portfolio, exchange cost between those currencies. That's usually the entry point. With working capital now we have a new entry point, which could be even if you're just domestic, because it doesn't necessarily need cross-currency trade. For that, purely on paper, we need half a year of data to look at. Right? That's the minimum of GCSECA. You have to be able to give us half year backwards of your Amazon revenues, and then we take those, evaluate, and then you move through those levels that I mentioned. So you have that tiny package, the medium and the large package, and to be able to do that, it takes 3 months usually. So to advance into these next levels, you have to repay, and then you can get ahead. So in total, once you hit half year business with good revenues on Amazon, you could think about it. And then it really just depends on whether you have that opportunity. It's not a business funding as itself for operations, right? It's really for you to have it as an option. It's always there. You call it when you need it, kind of thing. And so every seller is very different. We have a few that say we really don't need that at all, even if they are running successful businesses already. And some that immediately had a relation say, oh yeah, there's always this 1 month where I have to buy extra of this and that. Or I had I think seeds and spices business as an example. Whereas there's even parts of the year where there's no business. So you have to focus everything on that 1 8-week sale process. And that's where we want to be in their minds to say, okay, I have an option here.
Okay, yeah, sounds really good. So what do you think, what's one of the best resources to learn more about like this funding part, and also about international payments? Do you have Payoneer on your website, any resources?
Yeah, I mean, if you just do Payoneer.com, we try obviously to make everything very accessible. Specifically, the working capital campaign is really promoted today, so you shouldn't have any issues finding it. And otherwise, hopefully there's always a Payoneer colleague somewhere around you to approach.
Okay, very good. So yeah, thanks again for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of the Barcamp event and also learned something new yourself.
Oh, I did already, yeah. Thank you.
This interview was filmed during our in-person event called Orange Klik Barcamp with Dragonflip that took place in Lisbon, Portugal in summer 2022. If you're interested in the next in-person event, check the link below in the description for our events page. By the way, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell if you want to get updates once we upload new content. And now I invite you to watch other video interview from Barcamp, where we talk with a 7-figure Amazon seller Dietmar from Germany, who tells us how he got to 7 figures and what challenges he had.